Hey there, I'm Sadia Davis. How are you guys doing out there? I don't know about you, but it's like totally overcast and gloomy in Chicago, and I'm feeling like I just want to curl up and read a good book, or actually a good book called Agile Artist. Really excited today to bring to you guys Colin Egglesfield, who has written an incredible book, but more importantly, we're going to be talking to you about, are you camera ready? What are you doing to show up in front of these new Zoom meetings every time now we have them? Before we bring him to the screen, I just want to go over a couple of things. Tomorrow, we're really excited about having AIBI takeover. This is where we're going to have Anne Everett, who has some of the most incredible designs. Love her fashion. Dana Todd of Belladonna. Really cool customized clothing for all body shapes. And my dearest and friend, Cheryl Roberts from Indigo Style, the collective out of Brooklyn. Very excited about some masks that she is selling on her website. And like this. And we're going to turn it over to AIBI, one of our partners, Kat Anderson, to just do the entire show. So I'm really looking forward to that. They're going to be talking about what's happening in fashion, apparel, and some innovation. And as you know, so much is happening right now. So with that, let's bring on Colin. Hey.
How you doing, Sadia?
Oh, you know, me and my, I'm calling it my quarantine hair.
Looks great.
It's unpredictable as the quarantine.
You look beautiful. You look great.
Thank you. So
how's my hair?
Perfect.
Oh, thank
I mean, it looks good.
Took me hours.
It's what?
Took me hours today to work on it.
Well, it worked.
I just wanted to be camera ready for your amazing audience.
And that you are. So tell us a little bit, you know, I always love to have people talk a little bit of their origin story. Before I say that, your publisher, Melissa G. Wilson, yes, my dearest friend and future publisher, we're always trying to figure out a new book. And I have so many different book titles. But one day she
Have you written a book yet?
Not yet, not yet, but it's in there.
Yes, we got to get that book out of you.
Yeah, we got to get it out. But she introduced us, and it's really great to actually meet you and have conversations with you. But I would love for you, for those of our viewers who are not familiar or want to know maybe just a little bit more, a little bit of your origin story.
Yeah. So thank you for having me, Sadia. I appreciate it. And yes, thank you, Melissa, for introducing us. I come from a small little town in the south suburbs of Chicago. I was born in Michigan. I'm the middle child, so kind of got lost in the shuffle there between older sister and younger brother. And, you know, I guess I would say I lived the normal Midwestern upbringing with BMX bikes and Legos and all that fun stuff. And I was planning on going to medical school. I went to University of Iowa, and I was in my senior year, was planning on doing that. But you know how, like, when you're on a path or on a trajectory, and you're not quite sure if it's the right path or the right trajectory. And much like my character in Something Borrowed that I did with Kate Hudson, in Something Borrowed, I play a character named Dexter Thaler, and my trajectory in that movie was to become, so I'm a lawyer. I'm a part of the aristocracy, if you will, in the East Coast. And I'm expected to just kind of carry on that heritage of what the Thaler name is all about. So I'm engaged to Kate Hudson's character because I feel like that's who I'm supposed to be marrying. But in my heart, I'm in love with Rachel.
Oh.
And so I go to my dad in the movie and I say, Dad, have you ever gone down that road and just kind of felt like, you know what, maybe it's not the right fit? And in the movie, my dad says, son, you made a commitment. That's not who we are. We don't go back on our word. This is what you're doing. And so I think a lot of people unfortunately get caught up in that same situation where they feel like they're pressured to do something that in their heart is not the right thing. They know it, but they haven't been encouraged to speak up, put their foot down and say, you know what? As much as I care about you wanting the best for me, I don't know if this is the best thing for me. Mm-hmm. And when I was in my senior year at the University of Iowa, that's how I felt. I was like, medical school, yeah, maybe. And in a way, I kind of felt, my dad is a doctor, and I kind of felt like maybe I'd be disappointing him if I didn't continue on that route. And I don't know. I think it's one of these things where you kind of put it out there to the universe that you're looking for something, or you're wanting to do something, but you don't quite know what it is. In that moment, in that space, I heard on the radio about this model talent search at the Davenport Holiday Inn. So I went to the Davenport Holiday Inn on a cold Friday or cold Tuesday, February morning, showed up, and there were these two ladies in there. They invited me to come to this model convention in Chicago. And a lot of what I talk about in my book, Agile Artist, is the lessons that I've learned in life that have helped me get to where I'm at, and have led to my success and to other people's success that I've worked with. And a big key to my success, and I guarantee you so many other people's success, is just showing up. Mm. As Woody Allen says, 80% of life is just showing up. And the other 20% has to do with having a plan and working that plan and surrounding yourself with a community of people that will help support you to get there. And so I showed up at this model convention, and there was one agent out of the 10 agents that were there that chose me. So only one agent at this big model convention. I'm barely 5'11". Most models are like 6'1", and so there I'm like, I don't know, maybe. But had I said, you know what, models are only 6'1", I would have never gone to the convention.
But you never know. Like, you're a perfect height for an actor.
Yes, until you work on a soap opera where everyone is like 6'4". And then it was like, when I was on All My Children, I was like, really? All the guys here are like, I look like I'm a tiny person next to you guys. Yeah. And so I got hooked up, and I ended up, next thing I know, a few months later, I'm in Milan, Italy, doing runway shows for Giorgio Armani, Gianni Versace, having dinner with Elton John, Donatella Versace, the Spice Girls. I'm like, this is crazy. Like 6 months ago, I was in Iowa studying biochemistry, and now I'm like cheersing a glass of wine with Elton John. I'm like, this is crazy. And so
you took that leap, though. You did something different. You stepped out of your comfort zone.
Yes.
You were encouraged by these two women. They were right. I mean, you're beautiful. You're stunning, attractive. And, hey, it's a real thing in the industry. I mean, the cheekbones, the, what do you call it? Like what do you call that?
Symmetry?
Yes!
Yeah.
Exactly. Symmetry. Hey, people don't even know. Like, the jaw, all of it, it's like an actual winning formula.
Yeah, but you know what, Saudia? That's not what it takes to be successful. It doesn't matter how beautiful you look, what your exterior is. Honestly, it's all in here. It all depends on how you show up, how you present yourself, how you're able to communicate. Communication is a huge factor. I don't care where you're from, how old you are, what color you are. The biggest and best leveling of anything that makes us different is our ability to communicate. If you are able to communicate, you will make more money in life. You will have better relationships. You will be able to get yourself out of situations better. Yeah. This is proven stuff, but communication for a lot of people like myself, it didn't come easy for me. Growing up, I was shy. I was introverted. I didn't like to read very much, so my vocabulary wasn't that big. And so I didn't feel comfortable putting myself in those situations where I was drawing attention to myself, especially in 6th grade, where Bob D'Amico would beat me up every day. It was like, when you're growing up and you've got zits and braces and headgear, why would you want to put yourself in a situation where other people are going to make fun of you, and kids can be ruthless?
ruthless.
Kids are the worst audience.
So, but I got to address this though, Colin, because, okay, and we talked about the fact that I'm also an introvert. And that people, yeah, this is taught, it's like looking at a camera, looking to somebody's eyes, like
right.
These are skills that we learn, and relationship building. That's real though. But I was bullied as a child, and kids are mean. And so I would say, especially having being an introvert, concerned about your outward appearance, braces, zits, whatever, then you're being literally hit on in a different kind of way. How do you even get to that point
well, it's all about having an inspired goal, or like a place where you see yourself. And so for me, once I started doing the modeling thing, I ended up in New York City, and I started going on some of these commercial auditions where they didn't require much acting. It was just like Gillette, where you go in front of a mirror and you got to shave, or a car commercial where you just got to drive. And I started booking some of these commercials. And so my commercial agent said, "Have you ever thought about doing any acting, TV, film?" And I said, "Oh God, no, I did one play in like grade school, and I forgot the line. And then I did one professional play in high school because my sister was really into theater. And I was like, I don't know." She was like, "You can do it." And I did it. And it was just like, just very uncomfortable. And so my agent said, "Well, why don't you take an acting class just to see if maybe you like it, if you're interested in it." I was like, all right. So once again, what do? You just show up. Just see what it's like. And I went in there, and I'm telling you, it was one of the most amazing experiences, because for the first time in my life, I felt like I was able to have the space to communicate and have real human connection with people out there in the real world. It's a lot more difficult to connect with people because we put our walls up, we have our barriers, we all want to look good. We see everything on Instagram. Everyone looks like life is great. Everyone's having a party. Everyone's in the Bahamas or on a beach or looking fabulous. And in the real world, we're not encouraged to share who we are authentically. And so we just we walk around in our self-created bubbles where we just kind of bounce around and hope that we meet some people in our life who we sort of connect with. But a lot of the times we just don't have those intimate, real connections with people. And in my acting class, it was like, teacher was like, all right, actor, you stand there. Colin, you stand there. Now you say these words to each other. And it was like amazing works by like Shakespeare and Tennessee Williams, where it was like all this like heartache and drama. And I was like, yes, but I love you, but you're in love with this other person. And it was all the stuff that I wanted to say, like in high school when Jim Flamini took Megan Clark to homecoming after I had asked her to homecoming first. And then he called me up and said, "If you take Megan to homecoming, I'm going to beat you up." And I was like, okay, well, I guess that sucks. I guess I'm not taking Megan to homecoming. And all of this stuff where I just felt like I didn't have any place to put that. But when I was in my acting class, I was like, yes, I get to say the things that were stuck inside of me. And a lot of the times my acting teacher, this is what's great about acting as well, is a lot of acting is you got to get out of your head. You've got to connect to your heart. You got to connect to your gut. And the best actors in the world are the ones where they communicate from their heart and they communicate from their gut. And what acting class taught me was the only way to really connect and communicate with people is by getting out of your head. And this is what I talk about in Camera Ready. And in Camera Ready, I go through a lot of sort of mindset strategy stuff that gets your mind set in a frame of outward delivery instead of inward self-consciousness about how you're looking, how you sound, how other people are perceiving you. And 93% of communication is nonverbal. So 7% of what you say is actually the communication that lands on other people or on your audience. The other 93% of your communication is how you subconsciously communicate to the other person. So what you wear, how your way of being is, your surrounding, your environment. And so if you're really trying to have an effect on someone, it's important to understand how you're appearing to them, what you're wearing, what your surroundings are, and how your way of being is when you are communicating with someone. So you just have to ask yourself, how do I want this other person to perceive me, but also still be myself? Because a lot of us feel like we have to be something that we're not. And that puts a lot of pressure on ourselves. And in my first few years of acting, I would go into my auditions feeling like I had to pretend to be like I had it all together and that I had all the answers figured out. And I would walk into my auditions just like, so like tightly wound. I was just like, yeah, no, I'm fine. I'm great. Everything's cool. I'm not nervous at all. And you could just tell that on the inside, I was melting. I was like falling apart on the inside. And this is how we go around in life. We all feel like we can't just be ourselves. We can't be our authentic selves. And if you look at someone like a Kate Hudson in Something Borrowed, a lot of the reason why people like Kate Hudson is because whenever I ask someone, why do you like Kate Hudson? Inevitably they say, well, because she's just herself. You could just tell she's just herself. And she is. She just shows up on set and she's like, you know what? This is what I like. This is what I don't like. This is what I think would make the scene better. And as soon as I started to recognize that the most successful people in not only Hollywood, but in life are the ones that are able to communicate what matters to them, I was like, you know what? The only way that I'm going to be able to be where all of these other successful people are is if I just start really paying attention to what matters to me. And one of my acting teachers that I write about in my book, her name is Jackie Siegel, amazing teacher. She said, first and foremost, before anything, whether it's getting up on stage or showing up in life, you've got to honor yourself. It's all about honoring yourself. So if you are approached with a situation or a decision to make, just stop, take a beat, and ask yourself, is this going to honor me? Or am I doing this to please someone? Because a lot of, like, I grew up as a people pleaser. Oh yeah, I'll do this. I just want to be a good boy. Oh yeah. I mean, I was just like, hope you like me. I don't want to make anyone mad. I don't want to, and because of it, we can show up in life appearing small and insignificant, and people will walk all over us if they can tell that we just want people to like us. And it's important that you understand what your boundaries are, understand what your value is. And that's why it's important to surround yourself with people who are up to great things in life, who you feel support you, because when I was younger, I didn't have that. And I'm so grateful for all the teachers and coaches that I've had in my life who have encouraged me to put my foot down, to create my boundaries, speak my truth, encourage me to have that voice that I was afraid to share because of growing up. I just didn't really feel like I had things figured out. And as I've gotten older, the more I've worked with some of these top actors in the world, whether it's Gary Oldman or Sylvester Stallone, Sally Field, there's just like this sense of like calmness about who they are. They just know who they are. And and you can tell that they've put in the work to be able to just confidently say, look someone in the eye and just say, how you doing? I'm Colin. Nice to meet you. And there's no pretension. There's no having to try too hard. And in Camera Ready, I have you go through some exercises that help you get out of your head and back into your heart, into your gut, because that's where real communication exists, and that's where real connection is possible. But we don't get to practice that out in the real world.
No. It's interesting that you say that, because two things, connecting with the heart and the gut. So many people are always in such a hurry, whether it's from this meeting to the next meeting to this, to that, that they're not even connected. right? And part of what this, pandemic and this sort of global sit down has done has sort of sat individuals down. We are self-isolating and we're in a position where we can't run from ourselves, right? So if anything, now is a really great time to connect with your heart center, feel your gut. And then now you spoke about boundaries, right? Now we have this frame, which is our boundary, and how we literally show up in our meetings matters. So I think that that's brilliant. I think if anything now, like more than ever, Colin, your camera ready workshop is right on time. I will say this, something weird happened. I was doing, a friend asked me to do a chocolate commercial, it was actually commercial print. And so only our hands were supposed to be in the frame, right?
Okay.
So so our hands are like here, and it was a guy, and my hands, and the director came over and said, "I'm not getting love out of your hand." Right? So it wasn't even like they were looking at us. They were literally like, the hands aren't speaking love. So he's like, "Here's what I need you to do." Now, mind you, we were close like this in order for them to capture our hands. He's like, "Are you guys looking at each other?" And we were like, I was like this, he was like that. Dude, when we looked at each other, and that's the other thing, like that connection, right? Okay, so now we're looking at each other, our hands are connecting, and here's what happened to me. We took a break, and I literally was like, oh my God, I don't know when was the last time I let someone in. It was deep.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, let's go back. Because it was like, it felt good to be seen. It was different because, of course, I could leave and I would never see that model again. But I started to look at my relationships, right? And individuals who I had in my life who also weren't fully connecting.
Superficial level, even family members, Christmas time, Thanksgiving, you meet, hey, how you been? Oh, good. How's work? Oh, fine. How's the relationship? Oh, it's good. Okay, let's eat our turkey. And then, all right, see you later. And what kind of connection is that?
Not a very grounded one. So what you spoke about, when we do connect in the heart and in the gut, it also grounds us. And that's something that you feel when you're talking about these other actors or celebrities or individuals who show up to work, right? I think that's interesting.
And the more you get out of your head, the more people will actually trust you. And this may sound very controversial, but you look at Trump and Hillary in the last election, and people say they trust Trump. They don't trust, like, you could argue that a lot of the things that come out of Trump's mouth is false. Like a lot of the things that he says, you could look in and say, okay, that is not true. But people will still say they trust him. So why do you think people say they trust him, even though the things that come out of his mouth are not always accurate? It's because they trust him here. He says things with such conviction, and he's so connected to his gut that when people hear him speaking, even though the words, it's like an actor. We as actors show up on set and we are pretending to be a different character. We're saying things that are not true.
Interesting. I see what you're saying.
But we connect to our heart and our gut so intimately that when we say our words to the other actor, it seems true. It seems real.
Well, and I think that, I'm always just careful on this, not to really get into politics or anything, but I think what I get from you and what you're saying is, like, if I think about individuals who I know personally who work on camera, to your point, it's just a beautiful kind of, like, to your point, what you said earlier, you don't even have to say anything. It's the nonverbal communication. It's how they actually show up. I have Hill Harper. I'm just going to throw his name out there. We'll get him on. He said whenever. We'll
I've worked with him, actually.
You have?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah, he's great.
But he's a good example. He's the person I was thinking of where, in person, he's just as real, not pretentious. And there's that, it's almost like a weighted, if I could define it, it feels like a heaviness or a weightedness in a person's presence.
Energy.
And energy, that grounding. And then when you see a performance, it feels solid, right? It feels real. So that's really exciting. So for Camera Ready, one of the things about the Center for Creative Entrepreneurship is obviously we provide well, it's not obvious, but for those of you who know, we provide resources to creatives who are entrepreneurs. And one of the things that happens with so many creatives, you and I have just talked about the fact that we're introverts. And when I tell people I'm shy, I become more shy.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, now my veil.
It's like you're telling your brain and reconfirming to your brain what your brain decided when you were 11 years old because you got made fun of.
Exactly. So, but the point is that, I often say to people, as artists, we are emotional, creative people, sensitive types. There are some ups, there are some downs, like anything, but a little bit more connected to everything because of the natural conduit of creativity. Mm-hmm. And then you couple that with business. And then you say, well, right, we need you to be on time. We need you to look at do you have a business plan? Oh, now we've got these Zoom meetings. And that comfortableness that you could have in real time with people, how do you now show up in this framework? Mm-hmm. And so for those who were actors or theater, right? Okay, we got that. But like for musicians, culinary arts, things where they're not used to being in front of the camera. Let's talk a little bit about that. What does that maybe look like? And look, we've got 16 views coming off of Facebook. We can ask some of you guys, if anybody wants to participate, literally, what should we make them do first?
Let's bring them on. Let's talk to them.
Yeah. So we'll give one person a shot to come on.
I want to talk to a scaredy cat. I want to talk to someone who is terrified of being in front of the camera so that we can actually work with them and give them some pointers.
So the first one who sends over a comment, we'll see.
Come on, let's see who's brave.
Who's brave?
I actually do this on Instagram, and I'm doing an Instagram live right now. I ask for scaredy cats. So I put on a live, and I'll be like, all right, I want to talk to someone who is terrified of being in front of the camera. And I've had a few times where I will just randomly click on people, and it'll say connecting. It'll connect, and then they will immediately turn it off because they get so freaked out. Right? Who's the scaredy cat? You know who you are.
Oh my gosh. Literally people are like, oh, can they see me? They're dropping off. No.
But then some of the people who do click on, and they're so nervous in the beginning, and then I talk to them a little bit, we connect. And then once we get into a conversation where we've got genuine, authentic connection, the nerves go away. Because then it's not about you, it's about the connection. And so when actors are going out, before they go out on stage, it's that anticipation of going out on stage, which causes the nerves. But once you are out on stage and you connect with the other actors, you can feel the energy of the audience, then you're in that present moment, like an athlete who's in that flow, like Michael Jordan, who's just like dropping buckets, just like, and it's almost as if like spiritual force is moving through him. He doesn't even know how he's doing it, because you get out of your own way and you let whatever flow through you, whether it's the acting gods or the basketball gods or whatever you want to call it, when you let that energy flow through you and you're in that zone, that's when you're the most successful. Dr. Dre talks about how he worked for 79 hours straight in the studio because he said he was in such the zone, such a flow, that he didn't want to miss anything. And the thing is, like, we go to work and we say, oh, I'm so tired. How are you doing? Oh, I'm so exhausted. I'm so busy. I'm so tired. talk to Dr. Dre after working 79, not working, but being in the studio for 79 hours straight.
Yeah.
Tired and busy and bored have nothing to do with the equation when you have purpose and you have passion about what you do.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why we have emotions and anxiety, it's because our body is telling us something. A lot of times we feel anxiety and we're like, oh, I need to take this pill to make that anxiety go away, when the anxiety is your friend. It is telling you something.
You gotta
This
listen.
is not the right situation. This is not the right relationship. This is not the right job. And the more you're able to acknowledge that anxiety and honor it, and then be like, okay, what is it about my life that is making me this uncomfortable? And what can I do about it? There's nothing wrong with you when you have anxiety, when you have fear of something, when you acknowledge it. And when I first started acting, I was like, you know what? This is terrifying, but I want to be Tom Cruise. I want to be in Top Gun. So I need to get over this fear in order to get to be there.
Yeah.
The problem is people don't create an exciting, inspiring future for themselves
To reach.
to get there. So much like I say, when you learn how to ride a bike, were you able to get on your bike when you first got your bike and be able to ride down the street?
Of course not.
What happened?
Yeah. You're going to fall over. You got
fell over, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you got on your bike and you fell over. Why did you get back up on your bike?
Determination, I hope. Curiosity.
For what?
To get to that, to get there.
But you saw the other kids riding up and down the street on their bikes, right? Doing wheelies and doing jumps, and they would ride into town. They'd come back. Oh my God, we went to the park and we went to the candy store. And you're like, wait a minute. I want to do that. I got to learn how to ride this bike because I want to feel what that feels like.
Yeah.
That's cool. I want to get out. I don't want to have to ask my parents to like drive me down to the candy store. I want to go there by myself.
You want to get to that place.
And that's not up here. That's all here. That's like, I want to learn how to ride this bike. So when you fall off that bike, you're like, I'm getting back up on that bike. Mm-hmm. I don't care if I scrape my knees. I don't care what other people think or if they're laughing at me because I fell off my bike, because I want to learn how to ride this bike.
So who out there wants to learn how to ride this bike? That being camera ready. Send us a comment. Whoever comments first or has a question, we might invite you in. We'll see what happens. If it doesn't happen today, that's fine. But I just thought it might be fun just to bring up some random person. You have, like when we did the live the other day, you had people from Ecuador, Sweden.
That's right. Brazil. Well, who do we got? Who's on the live here? What do we got? I'm sure we have Brazil.
Yeah.
Would you say most of your audience is Chicago, or is it all over?
For now. I mean, we had a couple of individuals who are on Periscope because we stream live here on Facebook, Periscope, and YouTube. And so this is like our 6th, 7th show or talk. I call it a talk. It's really like a conversation, right? Yeah. And it's around specifically, creative entrepreneurship. So people are starting to find out, but mostly the US and mostly Chicago. But I would say I have some friends in New York and LA that have been like chiming in and checking us out. So
awesome.
Yeah.
And it's awesome what you're doing, because as an entrepreneur myself, I've started a t-shirt company. I've started my online courses. I have my Inspire course, which is based on my book, and it's all about goal setting.
Yeah.
And it's fun because I have people create their own superhero character, and then in Act 1 and Act 2 and Act 3 for where they want in the future, what they want their Act 3 to be. So if you're wanting to write a book, or if you're wanting to learn some new skill, or you're, wanting to get into a relationship, but you're afraid to get into, you don't
know how to communicate.
You don't know how to communicate. This course is all about putting rubber to the road and having you create an inspiring future, like I was talking about, like with being able to ride the bike. What is riding the bike for you in your life? So if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling, unfulfilled, or if you're looking for a creative, supportive community to help just kind of get you out of your comfort zone and support you to accomplish what you want to do. I've had people start their own podcasts. There's a woman who's writing her own novel now. I've got people who've started their own businesses because of this Inspire course. And while I was working with these people in the Inspire course, I work with like real estate agents and other people who know that they need to be online and create more of an online presence, because especially now where we're stuck in home, if you're not online, you don't exist. And it's crucial to be able to learn how to be on camera. There's certain little tools and strategies and techniques that are learned that we get taught as actors, that where would anyone else learn this? Where would a real estate agent learn how to be on camera and have camera presence or stage presence to be able to say, you know what, this amazing 4-bed, 3-bath house there's a difference between relaying information and relaying transformation. So in a real estate agent who's just like, I see this all the time. Hi, I'm John Smith with ABC Realty. Behind me is a 4-bed, 3-bath house. This house has great plumbing and a nice roof. If you're interested, contact me today. That's
there's no connection there.
So you've got to learn how to have, instead of informative information, it's transformative, so that when people are watching you, they're caught up in a story of, what is this house? This house is the perfect place for you and your family to run down the stairs on Christmas morning, where the presents are there. Grandma's in the kitchen. She's making, your favorite meal. Can you imagine coming down Christmas morning and you being in this beautiful 4-bed, 3-bath house with your family, and that evening when you're sitting in front of the fireplace with your wife and you guys have your glass of wine? Can you just imagine how amazing it's going to feel being the proud owner of this beautiful house here in Wicker Park? If you're interested in taking a tour, call me today. I'd be happy to show you your new dream home. So that's the type of communication that gets people enrolled in whatever it is that you're doing. I don't care if you're a chef or if you are a teacher. I've had so many teachers that are like, in 1823, the Mexican army moved into whatever. And it was like, you don't remember that. The only way you learn is if you have information coupled with emotion. People learn when there's emotion attached with the information. So instead of just spouting out facts, you got to get connected here to what your message is. And in Camera Ready, I have you create your mission statement, your vision statement. You create your why. Why are you communicating? Why do you want to be on camera? So that when you stand in front of the camera, you are crystal clear about what your overall purpose is for making this little 30-second video on Instagram. Otherwise, you get so stuck in your head that it's like, how do I look? Is my lipstick or, is my hair out of place? And you make it all about you. So that when people see that, they're like, oh, I don't trust that person.
You're not connected.
Well, I'm not connected.
Yeah. So on that, because this is really key, taking it to the individual who's, say, with the Illinois Arts Alliance, or we have a generous grant from the Colin Foundation, right? And these are individuals who are, again, not even going on Instagram, maybe themselves, have more of a corporate mindset, but who are now having to deal with this frame. And I guess what I want is just not to give away Camera Ready, because everybody should go on and log on and take the course. But if you could give some very, let's say 3 key things for people in business, not necessarily the people who are the aspiring actor or something like that, but someone who literally has got to show up on behalf of their boss, or, you know what I'm saying? Where they're showing up into a room that's a Zoom room of 15, 20 people, or 2 or 3.
Yep. So first one is, you got to be connected with your higher purpose. So the story goes that in 1964, John F. Kennedy, who said, we're going to put a man on the moon in 10 years. He enrolled everyone in that vision, where it didn't matter whether you were the one working on the rocket or you were the one sweeping the floor in NASA. He approached this woman. She was sweeping the floor, and he asked her, who is she and what does she do? And instead of saying, I'm the janitor, I'm the person that cleans up after everyone. She said, as she's sweeping, she said, I'm putting a man on the moon. She was so enrolled in her higher purpose. And that's what we've got to be connected with. So whatever business you're in, you got to think about why you're there. Are you working in a corporation because you're wanting a paycheck? Or are you working in that corporation because you really want to make an impact on the world or in that organization or on even just the people that you work with? When you have a connection to something of a higher purpose, that helps you get out of your head where your communication is more about other people than in your head. The second one is, I would say, exercise, work out, do yoga, do anything that gets you into your body. Because especially in business where we've got to memorize a lot of facts and figures, I do real estate. So I've got to memorize, or I've got to understand a lot of numbers that go into whether or not a deal is a good deal or a bad deal. So there's a lot of analyzing, there's a lot of looking over documents, and you can get very much in your head so that when you're going on a Zoom conference call and someone asks you, okay, Bill, what do you think about this property? If you're all in your head about numbers and facts and figures, then the communication isn't going to be as effective as if you were to say, you know what, guys, I've analyzed this deal, and from what I can tell, this looks like this could probably be a home run. And if we really play this one right, we could make sure we could use this one to leverage. We could leverage this property to get into several others, because the profit margin on this is going to be around 40%, where the rest of them are going to be about 20%. Mm-hmm. And that comes with getting connected to here. And Matthew McConaughey, before he starts any scene in a movie, he will tap his chest. And he'll go, and he was doing that right before his scene in The Wolf of Wall Street with Leonardo DiCaprio. And Martin Scorsese, the director of the movie, saw him doing that in the corner. And so Matthew's doing this, and Martin walked over there, was like, Matthew, what are you doing? And Matthew was like, well, this helps me get out of my head and get ready for the scene. Helps me be present. It helps me be grounded so that I'm not up in my head, and that it's not just about the lines, that it's about me, and it's about how I'm showing up. And Martin was like, yeah, I like that. Why don't you do that in the scene?
I was gonna say he did that in the scene, right?
So Martin said, do that in the scene. And then so it's all about just doing things that keep that energy flowing, keep you in your body. Dancing is a great way to get into your body. And it's funny because when you go to an audition, I'd go to the Warner Brothers studio lot, and you'd walk in, go through the big gates, and you're walking through, and there's all the different lots, and there's like
massive
zombies walking by and gladiators, and like then you walk into your audition, and there's guys you sign in, you have to sit and wait, and so you can just feel the nervous energy. And some people will go out in the hall, and like Leonardo DiCaprio, I read, Tobey Maguire said Leo used to do cartwheels in the hall before going into his auditions, just to get him back into his body so that we're not in our heads. Yeah. So anything that will get you out of your head and back in your body. And then the third one, I would say just ask yourself, in this bit of communication, whether you're communicating in a boardroom meeting, or you're doing a Zoom call with a family friend, it's important to make sure that you are having the right equipment, and your lighting and your technical stuff is figured out. Because if it's too dark, or if you're just like, you're down here,
right, there's no connection there.
Or my mom will hold her telephone, and like I'm trying to talk to her, and she's like moving around the house, and I'm like, Mom, I'm getting seasick. Can you
my
just
mom does that? I'm like, I'm getting
still? Yeah. It's important to know some technical stuff and the right equipment, so that people are paying attention to what you're saying, and not like trying to like see you or see your lips, or trying to figure out like, where are you?
Or the ceiling, right.
So presentation is very important. And this is what I talk about as well in Camera Ready. And I've in Camera Ready, I have the Camera Ready store, where I've curated the best products, webcam, microphone, ring light. I've got a teleprompter here so that when I'm doing my on-camera stuff, you don't have to memorize. You just type it up, put it in your iPad, slip the iPad right up here, and it reflects up on the glass. You put the camera behind the glass and you just push record, and you can just read what you've written and look right into the camera. And you look like you're connecting right with the people because you got to look right into the lens. And so that takes away a lot of the nerves as well, because you're just reading right off the lens, but then not just reading, you're connecting to it as well. So that you're able to just, you're communicating more from who you are than just what you're saying.
Oh, Colin, that's brilliant. That's really, really helpful. You know, we have some comments. We could choose somebody if they're still online. Let me check in with our producer if we think we want to bring any of, let's see.
And Saudi, I just want to encourage everyone on my Instagram that they can go to the Center for Creative Entrepreneurship, the Facebook page, right?
Yep, that's right.
And is it just CCE or is it?
It's actually Center for Creative Entrepreneurship.
Okay. So go to Center for Creative Entrepreneurship on Facebook, give them a like to find out how you can make your dream happen as well.
So Angela, should we bring up Angela Trotter?
Sure,
Angela,
let's bring up Angela.
Angela, if you want to come up live with us right now, send us a yes. And then we will send you a specific link. A producer in the background, I think we can manage that. So Angela, if it's a yes, say yes with your email address. And that's if she's still in. I think she's probably still in there. She's coming in from New York. She said.
All right.
Love
New York.
Yeah. Oh, so Colin, while we're waiting on that, I was having a conversation with, I'm going to say his name, Chris Clark, who, Chris, what's your title? He was with Leo Burnett for many years.
Okay.
And he's now working with the Center for Creative Entrepreneurship on music licensing and developing a music. We want to bring music licensing back to Chicago and with the agencies. And I was telling him about, we were going to be going live, and he goes, wait a minute. Wait, I know that guy. Like, my best friend moved to New York and they did this modeling thing together. I don't remember the guy's name. But it's somebody that you know. And I should have asked him what.
Yeah, find out. I'm curious.
Yeah. So I said to Chris, you should totally log on today and have a conversation with us. Oh yeah, he went all the way back. Gussie Miller. Oh, you're always authentically you. Yeah. Now Gussie's coming in from LA. That's fantastic.
All right.
Did we get a response from our friend from New York? We did not. So moving right along. Let's see here. Anybody else want to go right in for if not, it's cool. Just thought it might be fun. Oh, okay. Not today. That's all right. We're happy.
Oh, Angela.
Angela, it's okay. Listen, Angela has been with us, I think, since our first show with our directors and our above the line guys. So thanks for hanging in there, Angela. So anyways, this is a lot of fun. So now I'm thinking about.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
So as an introvert, how did you get over your fear of speaking in front of people? Because you're pretty badass. I mean, for you to be able to do what you're doing, you have amazing screen presence. You glow, you light up, you're connected, you've got all the qualities. How did you get to where you're at, and how did you get over your fear?
That's a good question. A lot of I have mentors. Tiffany, woo, me please. We got a hand raised. Sorry, we're gonna go with Tiffany real quick. I'll come back. I'm not evading this. Tiffany, let's send us your email and we will send you a specific link. And while we do that, before we bring Tiffany up, I won't completely evade this.
Yeah, I want an answer.
Yeah. Oh my God. Okay, first of all, as an actor, which I don't even talk about this, right? Like most people, I'm a producer. I prefer to be behind the scenes, that's where I've always felt comfortable. The control freak in me likes to move things around and know where everything's happening. However, I didn't like the hurry up and wait. I really, auditions like totally got under my skin.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a day, and you know this trick, where there's some certain expletives you can say. So I would jump up and down. So I'm also one of those people to like get my energy going. But
Yeah.
then the balance is, okay, cool. We've got, we're going to bring up our new friend here soon. But the balance is like, once you've built up all that energy, maintaining the character. So that's number one. Number two, I oftentimes, you spoke about this earlier in the conversation today, Colin, and that is showing up, who you are.
Mm-hmm.
I had an opportunity to interact with Kate Hudson, and she was with another actor who's passed away, and very down to earth, very real. And my mom actually said, honey, are you walking into those auditions yourself? Are you going in as the character? You know what
She asked, your mom asked Kate Hudson this?
No. My mom asked me,
Oh.
are
okay.
you going in as yourself?
Yeah.
Or are you going in as the character?
Mm-hmm. And what do you do?
Well, I was going in, I was like, oh yeah, whatever, mom. And then my agent in Chicago, I'll say Sam Samuelson, he changed my whole life. With Stewart Talent, he said, Sadia, something's going on because you keep going to producers. I need to see what you're doing. So I need you to prepare something and then come in, right? I did it. And guess what he said? He goes, okay, stop, just stop. You were enough when you walked in the room.
That's powerful.
And I started crying. I was like, my mom's been telling me that for years.
That's huge.
It's huge because it goes back to what we talked about in the very beginning, which is that as a child, I was bullied. I was nice. I wanted to be everybody's friend. And I was usually bullied because I was taken up for somebody else. Interesting. Just not, I don't know, being shy and being withdrawn. But I will give my mother credit for putting me at the Marin Theater Company in the 4th grade. And it's where I learned how to have eye contact. It's where I learned how to let go and free fall and do some of these acting tools and things. So those very tools have benefited me as an individual, to answer your question. How I'm able to get up in front of 1,000 people, or the fact, I built a stage, 1,000-seat stage on the west side of Chicago. There were literally 1,000 people in there. And I can command that because I have learned the tools, right? And I think those tools can be learned. But then I'm also very quiet in my peaceful alone time.
Yep. Got to recharge.
Yeah. So
Are we bringing anyone in?
I don't know what happened to our little friend. She's going to be coming in soon. Oh, what's her name? Oh, Tiffany. We're just waiting for Tiffany to log on. Tiffany, you got 5 minutes. Technically, you got 4. And if not today, we can always carry this conversation. So listen, you guys, Colin has an incredible book. I'd love to put up the image of his book. We have it there, Colin, also.
Oh, really? Well,
yeah,
we have it up here. Have you guys read this yet?
Have you read it?
Especially right now, in times where we're all sitting around just kind of worrying about everything that's going on in the world. This is a lot of the stuff that I was dealing with, living through the World Trade Center experience, having my apartment was blown up and I was homeless, trying to figure out what I was going to do in my life, decided to go out to Hollywood after only having done 2 TV show roles on Law and Order and this other random TV show where I had to jump into bed with Jenny Garth in my underwear. And it was like the idea of going out to Hollywood to be like a movie star was crazy. But it was one of those things where after watching people jumping out of the top of the World Trade Center tower and realizing that, you know what, if I had been stuck up there, if someone said, okay, Colin, I'm going to give you a second chance at life, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to waste it? Why would you care about what anyone says about you or how they criticize you when we're only here for a certain amount of time. 100 years from now, no one is going to give a crap about what you looked like or what you said on Instagram.
Right.
And you don't want to be 80 years old sitting in a retirement home saying, man, I had an idea of going out to Hollywood, but I was just too scared. I was worried about what people were going to say. Man, what if? I don't want to be that way. And life is way too short for you to just sit around and be like, oh God, I can't go on Instagram or I can't put myself out there because what if someone says something?
Yeah, that's not a good, that
It's
like
crazy.
Well, and it holds in your body. Like people get sick.
Tension, all that
Tension,
stuff.
stress. You know, I'm at peace with the fact that like I just prefer to be behind the camera. I literally am doing this for the Center for Creative Entrepreneurship because I understand and know how to do it. I wanted to set a strong platform for, you know, other organizations to come on, which we're doing that. We're going to allow other organizations to come, take over, have a great talk, encourage entrepreneurs in the creative sector. And, you know, but because I have this skill, it's like, yeah, I'll use it when I want. Or if somebody hires me, then I know what to do. But I just don't like, I do not enjoy the process.
Yeah.
If somebody said, oh, just come over and have some drinks with friends and there's a camera rolling, that I would probably have fun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Open a bottle of wine. Yeah. I'm good after a few glasses of wine. Sure. Yeah. Everyone's good.
Everybody's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me ask you one last question.
Yeah.
What is your big dream that you have not fulfilled on yet, that you still are excited about, that you're like, it kind of scares you, but it's exciting, that you want to accomplish before you die?
Yeah, I really want to work when I feel like the world is shifting, but before all of this happened, I said I would love to be a director of a studio, right? Like not only just a producer, but like, you know, running a studio where, you know, we're choosing particular content, we're making sure we're giving people work, we're shifting narratives, right? Like I want that. And what I feel so much is that everything along the line in this journey has prepared me for that. It's like I'm on the bike, I'm headed out in that direction. Ruby Dee, a tremendous actress. We were represented by the artist agency in LA. And she said to me, you need to be a producer. There are a few of us in this role. Another individual, Dolores Roberts, said, you know, it's better, you know how many Black women there are as actors? You'd be better off as a producer or casting director. Well, dear friend Robbie Reed had that locked down, and Kim Fox. But anyways, and there was one other person that said that I should be a producer, and that was...
Yeah, but what do you want?
Well, but here's the thing. Good question, Colin. I really want to grow some fruit on like a farm.
Awesome.
What that? Oh, we got somebody in the room.
Oh, all right.
But wait, let me answer that. I really want, it's so funny. People can identify talent in you. And that's a good question, but I really enjoy being a producer. I really love putting projects together. So I'm 100% on that. But hello, let's bring Tiffs in the room. What's going on?
Hi.
All you and Colin.
Tiffany, right?
Yeah.
How you doing?
Oh, my heart is pounding.
Where are you coming in from?
England.
I can hear it.
Yeah. What city in England?
England. Pardon?
What city in England?
Near Birmingham.
Okay. How far is that from London?
About an hour and a half.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for being here. You're beautiful.
Thanks. I'm like sweating.
Yeah, sweating is good. So guess what? You just accomplished like more than half of the challenge of accomplishing things in life. You showed up. You showed up.
Yeah, the email didn't come through straight away. So I was like, where's this email?
Yeah, well, guess what? You're here. That's all that matters.
Oh, wow.
Right?
It's like so surreal.
Yeah. Well, here you are. And what do you do?
So I'm currently I have a single mom to twins.
Okay. How old?
They are 4.
All right. Nice. And when you are taking care of them, how do you feel?
It's exhausting,
Yep.
but it's so rewarding at the same time
Mm-hmm.
because they give you the strength and courage to wake up every day and get up. They get, if you knew much about me, my background, they give you the courage to wake up and every day.
Yep. Yep. They're the real reason, that they're your why of why you overcome any challenge that stands in the way. And I guarantee you would do anything to protect your boys, right? Are you
Girls, I've
boys?
got girls.
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 No. You would do anything to
Yes.
protect your girls and provide for them and make sure that they had everything they needed to feel loved and fed and taken care of, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So are you afraid to be in front of the camera or in front of audiences?
Audiences
Audiences? How come?
being judged, I think.
Yeah. What do you think they're saying about
And
you?
it's mainly how I look, or I don't know if it's my own head that makes it worse, or you start
Mhm.
overthinking, or you when it comes to people, I'm quite confident, but I'm quite shy at the same time.
Mhm. Yep.
Like, I cannot believe that I am talking to someone that is so famous, and it's like, oh my God.
Yeah, I'm just a person. So let me ask
I
you
mean,
this.
go on.
Have you ever been in love before?
Yes.
Yeah. And what was it about that person that made you fall in love with them?
Their personality.
What about the personality?
It's the connection. If you have a connection with somebody, for
Mhm.
me, then that goes a long way. If you, as you said earlier, if you try and be somebody that you're not, it
Mhm.
don't work.
Because they can't
You
connect with something that's not real, right?
no.
Yeah.
But for a woman's point of view, the worst thing for a woman or a girl or even a boy or a man or what, it's how you don't know somebody truly straight away.
Yeah, it takes time.
Yeah. So when
Yeah.
you have that connection with somebody and people like your friends or your family have an opinion and you're like,
Mhm.
I've got to do this myself, which is what I could say quite common, but it's you yeah, you don't want to give off being a false person,
Mhm.
but you don't want to give off being somebody that you're not.
Right. And when you are with someone that you love and you know they love you,
Yeah,
it's comfortable, right? It feels good.
yeah, yeah,
You feel like
yeah,
you can be yourself, right?
yeah,
You
yeah,
can say whatever you want. You can say, "Oh, I hate this. I love this," and you feel like whatever you say, they're going to love you and accept you, right?
yeah, yeah.
How how is that created? How do you establish that with someone?
It's trust.
And where does trust come from? How do you trust someone?
Because you go with your gut instinct.
Okay. And
So you
maybe
either go and you don't listen to what other people have got to say, either it be negative or it be, you go on what your gut tells you. Because I don't know about a man, but I know for a woman, gut instincts are the key. And I think a lot of people on your live on Instagram would agree with me because I'm one of these people that I sit there and I'm like, yes, Colin, go on.
yeah.
Like I watch your lives and you're just inspiring. You
Thank
are
you.
really inspiring.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But I'm going to tell you something. Have you ever trusted your gut and it was wrong?
Yes.
Yeah. So gut is not always the way to create connection or trust, right?
Yeah, okay, I get what you mean by that. I mean, obviously, I'm a mum and I've made mistakes where I've trusted my gut, and you beat
Yeah.
yourself up for it. But it's
Yeah.
mainly when it comes to relationships, girls and women. And I don't know, guys, normally the same. If somebody gives you doubt or gives you reason not to trust somebody, your gut goes like, and overthinking goes 100 miles an hour before your body can actually catch up with it.
Right. Right. And when you are just being yourself and you've got your guard down and you're able to share something real with someone, don't you feel that that creates connection?
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Right.
But that to me, because of obviously what I've been through as a child and stuff like that, that's really hard for me to get to that point, because you always have somebody that likes to throw it back in your face.
So you've had that in the past?
Yeah, I've had that. Yeah, I've had that.
Have you ever heard of this saying, our weaknesses are our greatest strengths?
Yes.
So if you were to go up in front of an audience and share your experience where people have thrown it back into your face, and you were to honestly and authentically share that with an audience, do you think that they would connect with you? Do you think there's people in the audience that would be like, Tiffany, you know what? I had that same experience. Thank you so much for being brave enough to share something so difficult to talk about, because I've been dealing with that. It's been trapped in here. And you being up here on the stage made me realize that I'm not alone. And, I feel like connected now.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
For you to hide that or hold that in for fear of someone criticizing you, you're preventing the opportunity for connection with someone who could use it. And here's the thing. I don't care who you are. There's always going to be someone who's going to say something negative or that they don't like you. And
no, definitely. You can't please everybody.
Is there a food that you don't like?
A food?
Yeah. Do you like, is there like liver or olives or something?
Oh, no, I can't. No, liver's not for me.
Yes, you don't like liver, right?
No.
So do you think liver is like, if liver had a personality, they'd be like, oh, you don't like me? No, you just don't like liver. Some people just are not going to like you. But, oh well, not everyone likes everything. I don't care if you're like, there's some people that don't like Meryl Streep, or they don't like Tom Cruise. Like you name any successful person in the world, Jeff Bezos, Steve Jobs, any successful person in the world, you just go on their Instagram and there's always negative comments saying about someone. But if you make what you're about and what your purpose is, if you make your purpose about helping other people, being of service, and sharing your story, knowing that your story is going to help other people. And that's why I wrote this book, because there's a lot of experiences having gone through cancer,
Where can we get them books from?
You can get it on Amazon.
Yeah, we'll post it. But if I may, Colin, because this is really critical. Part of what Colin is saying is that once you actually, hi Tiffany, once you actually share that thing that either haunts you, you've said several times, and you don't have to share it now, but once you find that way to share that thing, it frees you. It literally not only frees you up, but it inspires, like Colin said, other people who may have been holding on to that. You actually end up empowering, and you have girls, right? And so this is really awesome that, like, you showed up, and then two, you're being able to be expressive. So I want to say that is huge, because we were talking about, in the framework of business, how people show up in these Zoom meetings, right? How they show up, how creatives show up. And you all know that there's always somebody in the office, to your point, Tiff, who's like, you may feel like is looking at you the wrong way, or your hair is not really done. Yeah. What's she gonna say this time, right? It crosses across all spectrums of who are you, wherever you show up in your life. But you can't let that stuff hang on you.
No.
That's how we get sick. It's how stress and stuff manifests. So I encourage you, and I know you don't know me as much as you've known and followed Colin, is to find ways to start to share your truth.
I'm sorry, hold on, my mirror is blinding everyone.
Huh?
I've got a mirror behind me and it's blinding everybody. I can see it like shining off my.
But if it's putting it in a post, if it's painting it out, if it's writing it down, whatever that means for you, releasing some of that will free you up and it'll empower somebody else. So I'm so happy that you joined us, because we were, you know, the good thing about this, it's not a TV show, so we can go a little over. I like to respect people's time. Colin, you've given us a good over an hour of yours. I'd love to put up the Agile Artist so everybody can get a really good look at it. And we can, everyone, you know, who has questions about how to find their on-camera personality, to check in with Camera Ready. You can go on that link that's right there at the bottom to check out Colin.
Yep. Or you can just go to my website, colinegglesfield.com. I've got Camera Ready. I've got my book. I've got my Inspire course. And Tiffany, I just want to acknowledge you for being brave and being here and opening up and sharing. And to reward you, I want to offer you a free membership to Camera Ready.
Oh, wow.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Colin.
So if you email me at, well, I have your email right there. So I'm just going to copy that, and then I'll send you an email with free access.
Can someone come and pinch me, please?
Pinch.
Yeah.
Do you know what? For somebody like me, who has low confidence and low self-esteem, because obviously what I'm going through at the minute, which is really hard, and I can't do anything about it until it's over.
That's made up, by the way.
What is?
I have no self-confidence.
Yeah, because I'm self-confidence. He jumped into this world.
That's just a thought. That's just an idea that you created. It's not real.
Okay, if you say so. It for me, you don't ever think your look's gonna be. Obviously, I feel really overwhelmed and really grateful that I get to speak to two really big people, and like I'm sat here and I'm like, oh my god, this is not real. Like this is really not real. It's real. Like
it's real.
Like I'm gonna go to bed smiling like a Cheshire cat, and the fact that you just like, you know, and you've really built my confidence, that you made me feel like I can achieve a lot more than what I thought I can.
Yeah. And it's not how you look. It's not about how you look. It's
oh no, I've got to that point now where like I'm a single mum to twins, and I'm like, if you don't like the way I am, then you can kindly, you know, I don't want to swear, but you can kindly go and
like, you know, it doesn't matter how you look when you connect with someone. A connection is a connection.
No.
And
yeah,
we're biological animals, and we do a lot of crazy, weird things. And a lot of times we are connected and we make decisions from an illogical part of our brain.
Yeah.
And that's why
I mean, I think our brain, like I'm going to be starting counseling soon. And you know, I think our brain is our own worst enemy at the best of times. It can be. I mean, like, if you're feeling,
because it's designed,
go on, carry on.
It's designed to protect us. It's designed to keep us safe. And all that negative thought, all that negative chatter is just your brain trying to protect you from being killed in the jungle. And the sooner you realize that, you sooner realize when that negative thought comes up, just recognize, oh, thank you, brain. Thank you for bringing up this negative thought, because if there was a saber-toothed tiger, which there was 200,000 years ago, and we were humans in the Serengeti, and that tiger came up, that part of your brain that comes up right now is what kept you alive. And nowadays, when that thought comes up, we perceive that to be, oh, that person doesn't like me, or they're making fun of me. Our brain is having the same evolutionary response that a saber-toothed tiger was going to eat us. So instead of berating yourself and be like, God, I'm horrible. I'm a horrible person. Just like, oh, negative thought. Thank you. You're just trying to save my life. But you know what? I got this. That ain't real. That's just the thought.
Yeah.
Our brains are just designed to protect us, and our brains are 5 times more programmed to go towards the negative, because when we focus on the negative, that's what has kept us alive. That's why all the news, what we watch, is all negative. 12 people died today in this car crash. And like, there's people who have tried to put on positive news. Nobody watches it. Because we are programmed biologically to be on the lookout for danger.
Yeah.
And there's danger all around us. The way in which you are going to be successful in life and get over all of that is just shift your focus to the things that empower you, that inspire you. Those negative thoughts, people are always like, how do you get over your anxiety? Your anxiety will be there. Just don't focus on it. If you are so focused on something, your brain can only focus on one thing at a time. And you look at like an athlete who, like a soccer player, like in soccer, like let's say it's a penalty kick and it's like 4 billion people are watching in the World Cup. And it's just the goalie and the guy that's about to kick the ball. That guy, who's about to kick the ball, when he's looking at the ball, he's so singularly focused on that ball and getting that ball into the net. Do you think he cares what someone in Chicago is thinking about how he looks, what he's wearing? No. He's so focused on getting that ball into that goal that it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks, because he's so connected to his goal. And if your goal is that strong, if your goal is you want to help your kids grow up to be the best, beautiful, most like inspired young women in the world who are empowered and they feel good about themselves, that's an amazing goal. If your goal is to just be someone who, when you wake up in the morning, you know what? I don't feel so great, but I'm going to think of 5 people that I can reach out to today and say, how can I help you today? What do you need? I want to help you achieve your goals. I want to make you inspired. I guarantee you will start having people show up in your life differently. And be like, Tiffany, what can I do for you? What do you need? The more you make it about other people, the more you get out of your head, and the more it comes back to you to lift you up to where you want to go.
Yeah.
Right?
Definitely.
Thank you so much, Colin. And thanks, Tiff, for being brave, for showing up.
Thank you.
And you just got a course. That's fantastic. Thank you so much, Colin. It's
You're
great
welcome.
your beautiful smile. You two are glowing right now.
Yeah, Tiffany. Go out there and be the force of boldness. And when the negative thoughts come up, just be like,
I really appreciate
a negative thought. No, it's just a negative thought. It's not real. Just trying to keep me safe.
Yeah, no.
I'm safe.
I'll
I'm in my
put that
house.
in mind.
Yeah. You're good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Right, I'm gonna go off.
Okay, thank you so much. Blessings and joy.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Girls.
All right, take care, Tiffany.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. It's real.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.